It's not chi, ha ha ha. Can Jason teleport? And we make Adam Pally cry. All this and more on a brand new episode of Last Looks. Hit the theme.
It's the Last Looks at Last Episode movie. At last we can talk about all the mistakes we made and the omissions we left out accidentally. And Paul can solve your problems, Uncle's helpline, and then he can talk to Jason Mantzoukas about some TV. Last Looks, it's Last Looks. Last Looks, it's Last Looks.
Hello, everybody who dreams of taking New York City but ends up in the outskirts of Vancouver. It's me, Paul Scheer, and welcome to How Did This Get Made? Last Looks, where you get to voice your issues on Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. If you can hack it here, you can hack it anywhere. That's Danny the Wall's alt tagline for the film. And today we have a very big episode, okay? We are going to be talking to Adam Pally, whose brand new HBO Max special is currently out, and it is fantastic. It's called An Intimate Evening with Adam Pally. We're going to get to all of your corrections and omissions about Jason. I learned a lot. You came at us with love, not with hate. Normally, when we do these movies, they're like, you fucking idiot. How do you not know about this and that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we were not versed in the lore, but you came at us with love, and I'm going to share that love back at you because you know what? I'm kind of into Jason. What I learned blew my mind. So we have that coming up too. And as always, we will reveal the movie for next week's episode. But before I get too far into things, I got to give a big shout out to Mark Granger for this week's amazing theme. You know what? One of the best parts of this show is that everybody helps out in making it great. Not only our producers, but you, the listeners, submit your songs, which you can do right at HDTGM.com. There's a little button there that says submit a song. You submit it. We play it here on the show. It's that simple. You make the show better in every single way. And remember, if you are submitting a song, keep them short. 15 to 20 seconds is best. And you know what? Our Discord is another place where you can submit your own ideas, not just corrections and omissions, but alt taglines like Danny the Wall did earlier in the episode. You all are the best. We love you and we'll never murder you on a boat when you are just trying to get it on. That's our promise to you. Now, big news. How Did This Get Made is on the road. We're doing a big show in Philadelphia, and the movie is a Jerry Butler classic, Law-Abiding Citizen. We're also going to be in New York doing Brendan Fraser's Monkey Bone. But besides that, Dinosaur Improv is coming to Boston, D.C., and New York. And people have been asking me, like, well, what is Dinosaur Improv? What is a comedy show? It is an improv show with some of your favorite people from like The Righteous Gemstones and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Office, your favorite podcasts like Bitch Sesh and Dark Web. Yes, I know I've named a couple things that I'm on in there too, but here's the thing. We talk to you, the audience. We get suggestions about your life, and then we improvise a show around you. Every show is different. Every show is unique. And here's the thing. To see a bunch of these improvisers coming out of LA or New York to do this show is truly a feat. I mean, we bring a big crew with us. Edie Patterson, Danielle Schneider, Rob Hubel, Jason Mantzoukas, myself, Owen Burke, Mary Holland. I mean, so many great people. This is truly a spectacle that we don't know how much longer we can do it. But when we get to do it out on the road, it is our favorite thing. So you can get tickets at HDTGM.com as well for that. Now, I want to say that, you know, last week we learned a lot about Jason, or we made a lot of educated guesses about Jason. But you know what? Not all of them are right. As a matter of fact, some of them downright wrong. And you let us know. That's right. You fact-checked us. And now it is time for you to take the stage in something I like to call corrections and omissions. Hit the theme!
Setting back from friction in a world of contradiction. Sticking up the ugly truth is our stated mission. Sorting through the stinking pile of opera suppositions. Makes us do what we like to call corrections and omissions.
Thank you, Casey Campbell, for that theme song. It rocked. All right, let's go to the Discord. George Glass writes, as someone that rewatched all the Friday the 13th this week, the only reference I caught to the actual Friday the 13th date is in the first movie. It's an offhand, super 80-yard line towards the third act where the cop and the owner of the camp talk about how it's a full moon and Friday the 13th. So all the crazies come out. Now, my understanding is that Sean Cunningham came up with the poster/title first, sold the distribution, a la Corman/Cannon Films, then came up with the story and then filmed it cheaply after. Now, I presume that they realized in post the plot had no references to the actual date of Friday the 13th, and it was added just so people wouldn't complain or be confused. Now, that's really interesting to me because I'm wondering if at one point they just had a movie, maybe it's called Camp Crystal Lake, and then the studio's like, let's release it on Friday the 13th. It'll be spooky and scary. So then, because of that, they retroactively make it Friday the 13th. Because I can't imagine coming up with a concept and then forgetting to add it in, right? It's like one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. I don't buy that. I buy that the studio released this on Friday the 13th. And now let me check if that is actually true because I can solve it immediately. Well, nope, it was May 9th. I was totally wrong. And guess what, George? You were right. So, wow. Okay. Not going to try to figure out anything more about this franchise because it doesn't make sense. How do you sell a movie called Friday the 13th and then that's the afterthought? Oh, my God. Grudlin writes, everyone does their version of the Friday 13th noise, mostly ch-ch-ch-ch-ch, but the noise is officially ma-ma-ma-ma-ma. Per Wikipedia, Howie Manfredi was inspired by the 1975 film Jaws, where the shark is not seen for the majority of the film, but the motif created by John Williams cued the audience as to when the shark was present during scenes and unseen. Manfredi was also inspired to recreate a similar sound for Friday the 13th, and he came up with the sound of ki-ki-ki-ki-ki, ma-ma-ma-ma-ma, based on the line, "Killer Mommy, Killer Mommy," which Mrs. Voorhees recites repeatedly in the final reel. Killer Mommy. Wow. Wow. I'm learning here, people. I'm learning and I'm loving it. Danny the Wall, you remember Danny with the alt movie tagline. Well, Danny comes back and goes, the Muppets were not the first to take Manhattan. June's instincts were correct. The phrase, "I'll take Manhattan," is often the starting line for the song Manhattan, which was a part of the Great American Songbook canon of jazz standards. The term dates back as far as 1925, so it was a long part of American culture before the Muppets claimed it in 1984. Yeah, that was a dumb goof up on us to say that the Muppets. You're saying this started in 1925. Yeah. Sure. Makes sense. Let's go to the phones.
Hey, Paul. Just got done listening to your Jason Takes Manhattan episode, and I kind of wanted to answer a question for you guys about Jason's powers. In the 2017 video game of Friday the 13th, when you play as Jason, you can choose which Jason from which movie you want to play, and they have different powers or enhanced powers. And Part 8 Jason that you can play as, you get enhanced teleportation. So yes, he can teleport in that movie. And also a little fun fact about Part 6, when Tom McLaughlin, the director, was originally hired to direct it, he wanted to make a Cheech and Chong crossover with Friday the 13th, but Paramount said absolutely not. Keep up the good work, and also, if you do another Friday the 13th movie, definitely do 5, where it's not even Jason. Love you all. Take it easy.
Whoa. That's how I responded to your voicemail when I was listening to it. I love that the Jason in the games, they acknowledge it. Like, everyone knows that this doesn't make sense, so let's have fun with it. And I kind of like the idea that every Jason is different. Every Jason, is a product of its own time, even though most of them came out year after year after year. But you know what? You can change in a year. And Jason doing a crossover with Cheech and Chong is the best fucking idea I've ever heard. The fact that we did not get that and we got like Jason versus Freddy, which is fine. Holy shit. But Cheech and Chong are like Abbott and Costello. Oh, I am mad. This makes me as mad as when I heard this week that Adam Driver was going to do a Kylo Ren movie with Steven Soderbergh and Disney said no. What the fuck, people? Don't you know a good idea when it hits you? Hits you right in the heart. Lee from Ontario gave us a call, and guess what Lee said?
Hey, Paul. Regarding Jason Takes Manhattan, I think I might actually have an answer for Zooks. in regards to what is Jason. So in the 9th Jason movie, Jason Goes to Hell, there's a part where the heroes of the movie are in the old Voorhees household. It's an abandoned old house that we've never seen in any of the other movies. And one of the guys picks up the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead movies, and just kind of like, oh, that's weird, and puts it down. And, you know, I think it was more just at the time supposed to be like a wink to the horror fans, like, hey, look at this, it's Evil Dead, we like it too. But people started thinking, like, maybe that's what Jason is. Maybe he is a Deadite from the Evil Dead movies. And for people saying, what the fuck is a Deadite? It's like an evil spirit that can possess the body of a living or a dead person and turns them into like a zombie or like a ghoul kind of thing. And so it was kind of, you know, not 100% like, is Jason a Deadite? But after Freddy vs. Jason came out and made a lot of money, they wrote a script for it and everything, a Freddy vs. Jason versus Ash from Evil Dead movie. So the fact that they were going to actually link them all into a shared universe kind of gives credit to the Jason is a Deadite theory. They turned that script, I guess, into a comic book or comic book series. But anyway, there is the closest thing, I think, to an answer that we are going to get regarding what the fuck Jason Voorhees actually is.
Another great collab. Oh, man. Jason is a tricky person to put in a mashup movie because he doesn't speak, right? So you do need that other element. Cheech and Chong, Ash. I mean, yeah, Freddy speaks and Freddy's great, but I like a human. Sorry, you know, call me what you will. I enjoy a human in there. And I know you're going to be like, well, Freddy is a human. I know, but he's not really a human. He's not like, he's a ghoul. He's a ghoul based on a human. Anyway, next up, Stefan from New Brunswick, Canada.
Hi, you were asking about the rules of Jason. I think Jason M specifically was asking the rules about Jason V. I'll try to keep this concise because there's a lot. First movie, he's a jump scare, not a dream. Don't worry about it. Second and third movie, he's mostly a dude who lives in the woods. No super strength. He moves mostly like a person. Sometimes he's actually agile. There's a scene where he jumps through a window to surprise some people. By 4, though, he's so methodical, he does seem very Terminator-y. By 6, he becomes a ghoul. The only explanation is he's struck by lightning. There's not a lot of deep lore beyond that, except I think they get to it in 9, and it makes no sense. Don't worry about it. But anyway, by then, he's a lumbering zombie Terminator. In terms of weaknesses, when he's a human, he just has human weaknesses. When he's a zombie, it's implied he needs to be trapped in the lake, and the idea of hydrophobia is introduced. I think it was in this film, the 8th one. They actually play that up later. They contrast that with Freddy Krueger so that Jason's the water guy and Freddy's the fire guy. As for what they want, Jason's targets are pretty much anyone who enters his woods. In 3, he seems to be killing for his mother, for whom he has like a shrine of her disembodied head. After that, though, he seems more just like a sentry, just protecting Camp Crystal Lake from any outsiders. Very territorial dude. It's also why stories that take him out of the lake, like especially part 8, don't quite work, because it seems like he would just be killing anyone in his way to get back home, instead of like hunting someone down. So that's why they had to concoct the psychic bond between him and the hydrophobic girl.
See, Stefan, this is what we needed, a full breakdown. I appreciate this. I respect it. And I think you bring up some very good points here. Why take Jason out of the woods? I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. All we need is a developer who's constantly buying that property and trying to relaunch dumb shit on it. I think it's fine. All right, back to the Discord. Johnny Unusual writes, you guys were mentioning how it's better not to see Jason's face, and I agree, but actually almost every movie has a face reveal except for part 7. I found this chart to show how inconsistent the look is. Sorry if you are listening to this because that visual component doesn't help you in an audio medium. But I got to tell you, this is worth looking at. We're going to put this on our social media because it really is shocking how Jason has changed. I mean, odd. I mean, truly odd. Maybe what I love about this film is like there is no care of consistency whatsoever. It's not like, oh, they got better at the design and that first version looked cheap. No, it's just wildly, aggressively different. Age, height, body, eyes, wild. All right, Scary Mirage writes, you all mentioned that the kills, especially the ship's crew, seem strangely gore-free, and that is correct. Paramount routinely had fights with the MPAA, which routinely demanded cuts in gore and blood to secure an R rating for each Friday film. Paramount was tired of fighting, cutting, and sometimes even reshooting kills, so for Part 8, they decided to tone down the kills from the beginning. You can also see the error that Jason bloodlessly cuts the throat of the captain with the dull side of his machete. Oops. Wow, that is fascinating because even in the most bloody Jason films, it's not like that. I mean, I guess, look, times have changed. You know, The Conjuring, they gave it an R rating. And they're like, why? There's nothing barely scary in here. And that's the point. It's too scary. So the MPAA is going to mess with you. And the MPAA, might get Jason at their house. They better not go to Camp Crystal Lake. They're going to be wiped out because Jason doesn't like to do reshoots. Rachel 99, and I'll say it the way that's written. Rachel 99. If Jason's job is to protect Camp Crystal Lake, why don't they make a movie where he has to stop developers from turning it into condos? I'd watch that. Rachel, I just pitched it. We are simpatico, Rachel. I love that. Yes. Why not? Take it out of the kids and let's kill more adults. It's like that Woody the Woodpecker movie. Did anyone see that? Maybe I'm the only one. My kid really liked it and it was upsetting. It was a Netflix movie. And he's like, Dad, this is funny. And I had to be like, you know what? It actually isn't funny. I don't ever do that to my kids, but that movie was just too dull for me that I was like, this is not funny. And it's actually going to make you less funny by watching it. And he listened. And you know what? We watched Anchorman the other night and he was falling off the bed. Should I show Anchorman to my child? Here's the thing. There's a lot of sex talk in all the shows that we watch, and that's about as bad as Anchorman gets. And it was a great way to kind of talk about, how to treat members of the opposite sex and how far we've come and gone back to. Anyway, so many great corrections and omissions this week, but there can only be one that is truly the best. And you know what? I got to say, is it the person who agrees with me that we see the same thing? I would go with that normally. I mean, is it Stefan who came in and just brought forth the true knowledge? Is it the person who told us about Manhattan? I mean, honestly, you all killed it. But I have to say, if I was to wrap up it all in one neat, little bow, what's the fact that I'm going to walk away with? Well, you're going to be surprised. It's going to be Grudlin. It's going to be Grudlin. It's going to be Grudlin because that ma, killer mommy is a great dinner table conversation starter, ender, who knows? I love it. That was great. And you know what, Grudlin? You don't get anything you can hold, but you can listen to with your ears. That's right. You get this amazing song, or I should say creepy song, from Rob from Long Island. Hit it!
Look around this room and you see nothing before your eyes. That's when it hits you. This creepy song is your only prize. You win.
Now, if you want to chime in with your own thoughts, you can. Hit up the Discord, right? But more importantly, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your voice. So give me a call at 619-PAUL-ASK, 619-PAUL-ASK. Coming up after the break, Adam Pally joins Jason Mantzoukas and I to talk about all things comedy. Welcome back. By now, I'm sure you've noticed that every week we re-release old How Did This Get Made episodes on our feed. These matinee episodes now come out every Tuesday. This week's matinee was an all-time classic, Sleepaway Camp. Oh, I love it so much. And next week, we'll be closing out our Halloween matinees with Chopping Mall. So keep on checking out all of our replays of classic episodes every Tuesday. Okay, without any further ado, we have a very special guest. You know this guy from the Sonic world. That's right, the Sonic the Hedgehog world. You also know him as one of the stars of Happy Endings. He is a comedian. He is an improviser. He's a writer. He made a show this past summer that is slept on, in my opinion, called Mr. Throwback. It was Adam Pally and Steph Curry. a great, great show. Please welcome to Last Looks, Mr. Adam Pally.
Is it this, or could it be that? A little swing of the cane, a little tip of the hat. No, it's Jason and Paul, just getting into it all in a segment that we call Just Chat. Yeah.
Adam, so good to have you back on the pod. Not in an official way. This is more of a straight interview, but we are so excited. You are a fan favorite. How did this get made?
What an honor to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Secret of the Ooze is I feel like legendary episode of the podcast.
One of our first New York shows, I think, like live New York shows.
That was just lightning in a bottle of my son was hitting Ninja Turtles at the time that we were doing it, and I was very, very literate in the language of the ooze. You know,
what is your son into now? Like, what should we gear your next appearance towards? What do you have expertise in now?
Jesus Christ! I mean, God forbid,
or any of your kids for that.
No, my son is into he plays defensive line on the football team.
Oh yeah,
I love this.
It's so cool in New York City, so it's really cool. Like practice is always
so cool
to me, like the beginning of a romantic comedy or something. When I'm waiting to pick him up, you know, it's like I bump into like a mom. I'm like, oh hey, you know,
oh hey,
like,
what's going on?
Yeah, because it's like overlooking Tribeca. It's so beautiful. But he plays defensive line. Then he just booked the lead in the play. So he's like
amazing,
the coolest kid in school, kind of.
I love this.
And into
and I like that you think the romantic comedy that's happening is for you.
Oh, I'm a hero.
It's clearly happening to him.
Of course, you got it.
It's crazy how I can't get over that in my life. I guess that's true narcissism. That like even when I'm with him, I'm like,
that's
the
just
star.
main character syndrome.
Yeah, I have it so bad.
When you're unequivocally faced with someone who's excelling at every level, and you're like, but I'm still the main character.
Well, to be fair, not many of their dads are up on billboards. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know, look, it's the journey. This is you're looking at it like, oh yeah, this is my downside, but then I'm going to be coming up. This is where everyone starts to recognize the billboards go up and all of a sudden the rom-com starts.
Exactly. You know how it goes. It's like, I'm just getting my confidence back after the car crash that killed my wife, because obviously she's dead in this.
She has to be dead. And now, Pally, I have heard about you doing this show around New York and LA for a little while now, and everybody that has seen the show that you have done, which is now going to be a special on HBO, which is out right now that you can watch, came away from it in this way where they're like, you have to see it. It is unlike anything. And I would be in conversation with people who are like, well, is it stand up? And like, kind of. It's like, well, is it like, well, is he like playing songs? Like, yeah, kind of. Is it a one man show? Kind of. And the one thing that seemed to be the common denominator in hearing about this show was this revelation that you have at the very beginning of the show that your parents were lounge singers. And I've known you for a very long time. I never knew that about your parents.
Yeah.
I only, in fact, have known your father as a physician.
I know.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's the capacity that I feel like I've met him under.
Same. And it's such an interesting thing to kind of pull out from your past. And I think that, honestly, that's really the basis that you should go into the special knowing that your parents did this. And from what ages were they lounge singers?
They started their band Pally and Pal while my mother was at Hunter University.
Wow.
And so my father had already dropped out of Binghamton. So like I'm gonna say like 20 and 19.
Oh wow.
And I'll get you after I tell the story. I'll get you. I have their headshots hanging over there, which I'll get you. You guys are. It's so
I love it.
Wild. But and then they had me relatively young, and my sister. So they were like, we lived in Stuyvesant Town, which was only happened because they were, they were artists and they had a subsidy to live in Stuyvesant Town.
Stuyvesant Town is kind of amazing. It's this artist community, or you have to make less than $50,000
a year.
Yeah, and you can live there, and it's a pretty amazing idea that would like it would allow artists to live in New York City without having to like live in New York City or pay the living costs.
Right, and that's where I grew up, and then when I was around 7, 8, my dad had a couple close call auditions and some close call bookings with music, and it just kind of hit him the wrong way, and he decided he wanted to go back to medical school, so he went back to medical school at 33.
Wow.
And with 2 children.
Isn't it wild that we come from a time, my stepdad, that my mom remarried later in life, he was a concert pianist, and he got a chance to audition for Carnegie Hall, and got rejected. I was like, well, I'll never play piano again, and went back into studying psychology, and just never, and only would play if no one was in the house. Right? Like I was like, it's such an interesting thing. Like where I think we would be like, oh, we got some close calls.
Yeah,
we're close. Close.
That must mean I'm on the right track.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were just talking about main character syndrome. For me, I would still be walking around being like, well, this bubble's gonna burst any second. Like I got the next one's right around the corner.
Oh wow! So did your dad then just become a hobbyist musician, or did he stop playing music?
He stopped playing
wow.
music.
Oh God. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Oh wow. It was heartbreaking, but we had a piano in our house when we bought an old piano when we moved to Chicago, because he was close. He did enough work that he could get through pre-med in like a year and a half, and he was really good at it, he found. So then after pre-med, he got a scholarship at University of Chicago, which is like a really prestigious university. And my mom was like, yeah, let's go. And so we moved to Chicago, and she worked at a bridal shop in Skokie, Illinois, which actually is still there. And we shot and used as holding on Mr. Throwback, which was
that's so crazy.
It was
by the way, Mr. Throwback, a great show. Steph Curry.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's such a great, great
Ego, right?
So funny.
But that was a thrill to go back to Skokie and like shoot that in like on the street and everything. But so then we were there from the time I was like 8 till like 11, till he finished medical school, 11, 12, which is why my accent is like wild, which is why like sometimes I sound like I'm from the Lower East Side, and then sometimes I sound like I'm from Chicago. And then at 12, we moved to New Jersey, where he opened up a small practice in Flint Park. So it was like, a lot of moving around and stuff, but that was his life. That was the life, It was a different time. It was like things were easier to do.
Yeah.
You could shift gears. You could take on debt.
Sure.
Make mistakes.
Yeah. You could take a chance. You could take a chance on yourself and go and open a private practice or figure something out, And
the amount of chances he took on himself is wild. And they all, sometimes they were good, and sometimes it was hard, but they, worked out.
Now, I will say too, like for people who know you from, Happy Endings, Mr. Throwback, the Sonic movies, like you have
Dirty Grandpa,
the infamous
Howard Stern's favorite movie. He talks about it a lot.
He talks about it nonstop.
In earnest. And here's what I'll say. That personality that you have or you're acting great. We love it. Perfect. But you on stage is something that I don't know how many people understand or get, because I will just say you as an improviser, great. But when you do bits, they are always the most unexpected, weird, some might even say like at points can be super aggressive. Where does it begin? Where does it end? We don't know. And there's one bit that I always talk about, because it was one of the funniest things. Rob Hubel and I hosted the show called Crash Test. It's an 11 o'clock show that we would do on Monday nights. So it was a very interesting audience. And you came out as like Bernie Madoff's son.
This is right after Bernie Madoff.
Right after.
It wasn't like...
No, this wasn't like,
Yeah, this was like the week of the story.
100% topical bit. Yes.
Yeah.
And you proceeded to collect money from the audience for like a trial fund or for you basically do a pyramid scheme with the audience and then left with the money that you collected. And it is one of the fun, and people are like, well, wait, he's definitely coming back. There's going to be a part 2 of that. Nope. It was, you took the money and you left. And there was this vibe throughout the entire show, because you are on pretty early, where it was like, whoa, but now, and there was never. And that to me kind of sums up where you will go, your commitment to bits, your idea for like comedy. It's one of the most memorable bits in a sea of bits that I've ever seen. And I feel like this show kind of combines, I think, parts of you that people are very familiar with and parts of you that are probably not known to that many people, because I don't know if people know what your live bit persona is. Or like when you and I hosted some event for Jimmy Kimmel and we sang the Entourage theme song to Doug Ellen for 3 minutes, to get him to donate some money.
Turns out we were on the right side of history there.
There it is. And and so I just think that this special is something incredibly unique, because it is, without giving much of it away, it's you talking about your life, it's you doing bits, it's you singing songs, like as an homage to your parents, and it's just this incredibly interesting mix that's kind of surrounded by this doc footage that reminded me of like the pilot episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where you're following Larry getting ready for this big gig. We're following you. It's incredibly funny. These voicemails that you see throughout the show are great. And I was talking to you before we started recording. I was like, I hesitate to say anything too specific about the show for fear it is a spoiler, because from the minute it starts, you are on this journey and you don't know where it's going to end. And it's funny, and the rug is being pulled out. It's being pushed under. You have firm control of what you're doing. I haven't seen a special like this. And I think that people who want to see some sort of an interesting, different comedy special, it's not a stand-up special, it's not a music special. And look, I'm going to tell you, I have a thing for comedians putting guitars on, and I was prone to not enjoy this, and I found myself absolutely loving it.
No, it's great. I think the special to me highlights one of my favorite things about your comedic persona, which is that you are a deeply unreliable narrator, especially as it refers to your own life. And I feel like that is on display, like full stop in this thing. This thing is top to bottom classic Pally mischief. And that's what I that's what I love about you, is you are a deeply committed mischief maker. And it's, the whole show is so funny, but I just love how you're constantly setting up and undoing yourself. And that is a delight to watch.
I don't know what to say. I am really moved. You guys are my heroes, and it's wild to hear that. I really hear your guys' voices in my head whenever I make something, so it's really nice to hear that you liked it.
Well, it's incredibly unique in a sea of things where people are starved for what's different. How do you create something that's alive? How do you create something that feels like, I think what Jason and I love, maybe I'm not, is this idea, you can't always communicate these shows that we see that we love, right? Because they're not perfect for TV, but you created something that I think speaks to a special, but also feels incredibly intimate and incredibly unique.
But it's yours. Watching it, and you and I have talked about it, is what the show is. And in a way I was like, oh, I wish we hadn't talked about it, only so that I could receive it, because it really is. It is you.
Yeah.
In every way. It doesn't to even be like, oh, there's these jokes, or there's these songs, or there's this. This is just a Pally show.
Right.
And that is pretty rad.
I feel seen. I was really wanted to have something. I feel like you guys understand it, especially coming from the world that we do. It's I need people. Usually, I always need people to do what I do. Sometimes that can be incredibly frustrating when you don't have access to the people that you want, or anybody sometimes. And so I just wanted to make something that was felt it was somebody's album, or what I mean, where it's you look at a moment in time of a Bob Dylan record or something, and you're like, oh, that's what was that in that moment in time for that person.
Incredible.
And part of me feels like that's what these specials should be, right? Like
Right.
or their version of them. Like they don't all have to be like that. Like they're the most amazing joke writers of all time. But like I look at Anthony Jeselnik's last special, and I was like really, really inspired by that. Like he's a joke machine, but then he goes deeper, and it's like, but it's all him. And it's like again, like you could put, it's like you can visualize the jacket and you can visualize the image, and you're like, oh, that's that record. And I never had anything like that. I just had these moments that we've had on stage that were created to go away.
Right.
Yes, our chosen art form is ephemeral. Like everything we've done, I mean, not everything, obviously. We've all been on TV and stuff like that. But like the vast, vast, vast majority of hours logged for us are improv shows. Ephemeral, that night only. Nobody's taping it. Nobody sees it again. And that's
like,
that.
Both of you guys, like I've seen, like Jason, I mean, Jason, you made me cry doing an improvised scene with Jessica. We're literally, the audience is like gasping for air, laughing, and then the next moment hysterically like crying and holding them because of something you said, that like cut to the point. And Paul, like the first joke I ever saw in improv was, I can recount it to you now, which is like, I would say we put it up there in the Hall of Fame of like Simpsons jokes, which was it was a Respecto scene, and Hubel, there was like this horrible thing happened in a village, and Hubel was running away from the village, and someone put down a sign that was like, don't go this way, go the other way. And then someone put down another sign after it that was like, that last sign is a liar, go this way. And then you came out and were like, affordable signs to build and sell.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, like, and
so
that's
good.
No
so
one,
good.
I mean, like the audience for both those shows, probably 11 people, maybe,
right.
Like, and like I was there, and it was like lightning. It's like genius, but no one gets to. They take it with them in the feeling of it, and they try to recount it, but it like doesn't hit the spot.
Well, this is why I love that like improv and different types of shows now are getting more traction. Like it used to just be like the only way you could go out on the road is to do a stand-up show. Then I think podcasts entered into that equation. And now I think it's expanding to bit shows, shows like, we're doing improv. Like the idea of doing improv on the road, I think the joke was early on in those moments where we were all doing this, like you could never take this on. There's nothing here to take on the road. Like, what are you selling? And it's so, I think, but people just want this idea of a moment. Like we experience something together. It's incredibly unique and no one else will get it. And I love stand-up, and I think it doesn't take anything away from stand-up, but it allows you to go like, oh, if you saw 5 improv shows in 5 different cities, it would feel like a completely different show. And that's and the audience makes that up. Everything makes that up. And this show that you did, your special, captures that vibe. And I think it's the intimacy of the doc crew that you have following you to get you behind the scenes of the artifice of what this even is. What the special is. And then I think that's something that I think other people have done, but you do it in a way where you are aware of that camera and making it very entertaining and not like also navel gazing. Because I've seen that too, like the serious version of the doc behind the thing.
No, No, well, I think it's also, two things. Well, musically, and Jason, we talked about this a lot. Like, I am a hip, like, not even a hippie, nouveau hippie of that generation of like Fish and the Dead and Dave Matthews and Pearl Jam, and like that. There's a feeling you get specifically, or Jack White to the White Stripes. Like there's a feeling you get from going to those shows where you don't know the set list before,
right?
And and it's like it creates a community because the people like who saw it one night are telling you this could be it, and then they're saying this could be it, and this could be it, and it's all these. There's a question there that's unanswered until the lights go down, and even the best stand-up comedians, that question is answered beforehand, even though you're not hearing the material because of the format.
Right.
Because it's jokes, it's one person with a microphone, it's presented in this way where it's like, this is my act. This is this year's act, and this is next year's act, and this is my act. And you're getting what Des Moines got, but you might get it a little better because I learned what laughs or didn't, but you're getting the same act. And part of that is like, you know, what we came up, like I would rebel against that all the time. I'd be like, well, I can't do that.
Right.
Classic
Pally.
Like,
but I'd be like, I can't even imagine myself doing that. You know what I mean? And then as you get older, you're like, oh, well, that's an art. Like that's a Broadway show. That's a one-man show. That is a talent that is so specific. Those lines are memorized. Those emphases are the timing is perfect. It's been worked. It's been rehearsed. It's been figured out. And what I like about a jam band is that it's not. And so it's like, well, how do I get that feeling of what we do into that?
Oh, yeah. I think it's like, I'm leaving the house and I'm paying money. So why is this special? Because if you go pay money to see a movie, it's going to be out you can watch it at home within the course of probably 3 weeks. So it's like, why are you making me go out? And it's like, well, why are you making me come out to see this comedy show? And again, they're all different. Obviously, like you could go see, you know, the same material and it's done and it's fine. But it's like, but there's something about these shows that feel more alive and in a way that it's just like, oh, maybe he'll fuck up. Maybe this will go off the rails. I don't know. And I think you keep elements of that. This show feels it's shot in one day, but it doesn't feel crisp around the edges.
Well,
right way. Yeah.
I think one of the things that I really loved about it is the special, because the special, inclusive of the show and the black and white documentary scenes, is what this is to me, which is a perfectly shaggy hangout special. But the idea that you cannot, because of licensing issues, show you guys actually excelling at playing the songs.
Yes.
Because unequivocally the thing you're there and are doing the best, playing these songs very well. Clearly, you've got Dave Hill there. You've got a great band there. You're not allowed to show that. So all we get access to is your fragile mind and the everything
it's
that's
like my recollection.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
It's like you're telling someone about the show, which is kind of brings it back to what I was saying. This is the show that so many people have talked to me about as you've been doing it. Have you seen Pally's show? Oh, yeah, that was great. Oh, my God, he did this. He did that. Every different person, because I think it felt like, oh, he's gearing up for something. I don't know what. And you, in the past, you've done this too. Didn't you have like a show where you were doing like wine tasting and clothes shopping? You're like, yeah, like, so like,
Well,
so
remind me, Pally, will you just tell us about the movie you did with Fred Armisen and Zoe Lister-Jones?
Yeah, it was called Band-Aid, which Zoe wrote and directed and did everything, the music and everything. And I had to learn again. Like, I got the part by playing a song. Like, you know, it wasn't necessarily an audition process, but it was like, can you play a song and sing? And I have rudimentary guitar skills from like being in high school and playing, you know, in a couple bands. But
because your dad did not want you to, like your dad.
My dad did not teach me
Right,
piano.
yes.
Oh,
He did not want me to.
Yeah, like when you say that in this, it made me laugh so hard when you said like your dad could have like
Yes,
given you a little something, but no.
I missed that. I will say
no.
the part in the special where you and your dad play together is wonderful and hilarious.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that moment, and I love the moment after where I'm yelling at him, and then it gets like a little tense. Is like one of my favorite moments in the special. But yeah, no, I had to learn again how to do it, and then I had to learn how to play in a band, and then we did these shows, these like big shows, and this was like 10 years ago, and it was like really eye-opening because I was like, oh, I like this, and I've always been embarrassed that I play guitar, and because of Paul, like what you said, like I'm the most hypercritical of every comedian on the planet,
right?
Like, I anything that is foreign to me, I immediately don't like. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I need to be warmed up. And so I've had that thought a million times where I'm like, what am I going to do? Go out on stage and play guitar? Like that's not comedy. That's, you know, what a crutch.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and I think I changed on that view because of like exactly what we were saying before. It's like, well, who cares?
Right.
You know, and if this is part of the premise of what I'm doing, then you got to pick up a guitar.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like being like, yeah, I am one of these guys, you know?
Well, now let me ask you this. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but you did workshop this primarily at the VIII Comedy Festival. Now, I do want to give you a moment to just talk about why you went there. You know, just get that off your chest. You know, I want to just hear it from you.
Well, I went there for money. I went there for money.
No, Adam has not been.
No, I have not been. I'm hesitant even to make a joke. Like, I don't even
know. Paul,
Yeah.
you did say you had 3 gotchas for Pal.
Yeah, I got.
You were gonna
I
just-
got two more coming up. 2 more coming up. Don't worry, I space them out. So again, comfortable again. You did talk
You
about.
want to see my Hegseth tattoos?
No, but that's just because you did like the Fox News show. You talk about being uncomfortable, and I will tell you that one of the things that has caused so much drama in my household is a show that you are currently on right now, the Great American Baking Show, the Celebrity Halloween Edition. It's you, Patton Oswalt, Leslie Jones, and Rachel Dratch, hosted by our friend of the show, Casey Wilson and Andrew Rannells.
Yes.
Now, June, I think will be the first to say this show gave her like a full-on panic attack, nervous breakdown, so much so that we have not watched it. We're not allowed to watch it. Nor
Wait, has June's come out?
Oh, yes, it's out.
Yeah, June's came out. They warned me about June.
Yeah, see, on Roku.
Yeah, June. First of all, I wear this with a badge of honor. People brought June's name up to me behavior-wise many times.
See, I like this.
They hadn't seen my sort of behavior since June. So I wear that with
well, that makes me now want to watch this because I'm not allowed to watch the other one. So you can watch that on the Roku channel. And what a great crew, because you have Patton and Leslie and Dratch on there.
It was so fun and so stressful. Like I do empathize with June. Like it is stressful. Like you think it's going to be casual and you think it's going to be, but then they're extremely harsh about the judging, which hurts no matter what.
Right.
Like,
and the judges are the same as it's still Paul Hollywood and Prue, right?
But it's not like Celebrity Jeopardy where the questions are toned down. It's like the same thing.
It's not easy like what Ike Barinholtz has to do on Jeopardy.
Yeah, no, I see those questions. That dude didn't graduate high school. You're telling me Celebrity Jeopardy, Illuminati. But yeah, like it was totally. I was totally stressed out. There's so many rules. There's so many bees. You're cooking outside for God knows why reason.
Right.
Like I don't understand why they do that. Like, and it's just production is hell. There's like hay fever, like British hay fever. Everyone's like sniffling and being like, right, we're doing this in the worst possible time. You're like, well, then why?
Why do this? We don't need the tent isn't part of the show. Anyway, that is again,
So
that is
but it was a blast.
out on Roku.
So
and your podcast with Gabrus has been a delight to listen to. You two together. I love Gabrus. I love you.
Oh, he's the funniest. Thank you.
And you guys, it's called Staying Alive. And
yes,
it's basically you're talking to some wellness experts. You're also talking to some people about how to stay healthy. You're getting to a certain age. There's a moment where you're just kind of, I was listening to Flanny talk about this. Flanny, who runs Largo, was on Mark Maron. It's a great listen. If you've not heard it, it's awesome. But just like you get to a certain age and you start to worry about these things, like what do I have? What am I trying to get rid of? And how do I do better? You know, and I love the podcast because it's one of these podcasts I think you can take away valuable things from without it being like, oh my God, I'm about to die, or I'm so freaked out that I'm changing everything in my life.
Well, it's got that thing which is it's about health and wellness and all that kind of stuff in that space, but it's hosted by you two dummies.
Yeah.
Which is all I really want to hear is you and Gabrus chopping it up. Sometimes it's with a scientist or a doctor or an expert, and then sometimes it's with Mike Mitchell from Doughboys or Carl Tart or people that you guys know and hang out with, but nonetheless are still going to talk about their their like how in shape they are, or whatever, whatever version of their health journey. And that's what's fun, is to hear it through your guys' lens.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, like, well, we don't know what we're doing, and we're not, I feel like the average person is just trying to swim through a sea of ads and recommendations and, doctors' prescriptions and non-doctor prescriptions.
Right.
It's like and everyone's just scared of dying, which is so it's just, that's all it is. Everyone's just so scared of dropping dead. And so we'll do anything to like prolong that. And the same. And so talking about that thing is kind of freeing in a way, because we're all walking around with our little medicine bags, with our little routines, but we don't want to.
Oh, you mean my AM PM pill case that now sits on my kitchen cabinet?
Oh my God, you should see mine. I take pills the amount of pills that I take daily. I should be sitting in a nursing home with a bike helmet on. But like, I just don't want to keel over yet.
Yes. Part of the problem is we're so focused on billionaires and extreme wealth and all of this kind of stuff, and all of those people believe that their money is going to keep them alive forever. And what everybody should instead be recognizing is we are all gonna die. Yeah. And we should, I wish all the billionaires were like, let me instead demonstrate how to live a full life and how to die responsibly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Well, and the other thing is like, hey, look, I guess I'm going to live a forever, and I will be so fucking miserable because my days are spent not enjoying anything. It doesn't seem like there's any joy in their life. It's like, just to live, like, and I've seen a lot of older people.
So cool. You've seen a lot of older people? That's awesome.
I mean, I pay for it. I pay for it. And I get great footage. I get exclusive stuff. But like, the truth is like, well, what good are you if you're alive and none of your friends are, right? Like, it gets progressively more and more lonely. It's not like, oh, I don't want to die today. Of course you don't want to die today, but at a certain point, you're like, well, I think I've done my time here. I've figured it out. I'm ready to go.
Do you remember the scene in White Lotus, where the last one, where like there's a party going on and the dude is just like sitting in the house in Thailand, the older guy, and he's like watching, and he knows that his like young French wife is off with the boys, right. And like that reminds me of like the Jeff Bezos wedding.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where it's just like he's 40 years older than every guest at that wedding, and they're just like partying and spending money, and I doubt he has like more than like one or two close friends there. The rest are just like celebrities or billionaires or whatever that like interact with him transactionally and stuff like that. But no matter how full the night was, there was a moment where he was sitting there alone and he was like, holy shit, I'm gonna die.
That's it.
It used to be that it took a show like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous or something to give us access to the extreme wealth, to pull the curtain behind, like, it used to be when you got to be that rich or wealthy, it meant that you could retreat from society. You could buy a private island. You could retire.
Yeah, it was gauche to show people your house.
And now to not just is it like so in fashion to demonstrate so outrageously your wealth, demonstrably show it all the time on social media or whatever. It's also weird that all these billionaires, now that they are so wealthy, all they want to do now is be so popular.
Yeah.
They just want to be loved. They want to be loved across the board and immortal.
Yeah, and they want to live. And because it's like
and they want to be funny.
Because I think they think they're outrunning their old selves in a lot of ways. It's like the longer I stay around, the less people will remember what I was, and this is who I am now. And I'm not even that person anymore. A lot of them are so delusional. You know what I mean? Like, so I that's the one of the most fun things about the podcast is like finding out that a lot of the health industry is like snake oily.
Yeah. Well, it's always been. I mean,
so much of it.
I mean, it's like this idea of like the diets that are going to change everything, and I always think like whenever I see somebody do that, I'm like, well, at the end of the day, just like exercise a little bit and just try to have a little restraint. You don't have to go full on anything, but people are like, no, now my whole life is only this. And then that lasts for 6-8 months or 2 weeks or whatever it is. And then you fall back. It's like it's built to kind of pull you back in.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the podcast too is, again, you guys are just, it's one of the things that's on display so much is the same thing that I loved about 101 Places to Party Before You Die.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
The travel show that you and Gabrus also did for, I believe is maybe now on HBO Max.
Yeah, HBO.
Okay. I cannot recommend it enough. I've recommended it on this show before. It's fantastic because it's a travel show. And of course I love a travel show, but really what I loved about it is it is a show about male friendship. We talk all the time right now about like, oh, loneliness epidemic. Men have no friends. Men don't know how to have friends. You and Gabrus are so effortlessly demonstrating male friendship in a way that is so fun and also so funny on that show. And I feel like that comes through into the podcast as well, but also then is in service of, talking to experts and talking to doctors and all this other stuff, but in a way that's so much more approachable than if you just were to dial up another interview with that same, if you were like, I want to talk to a sleep doc, I want to hear a podcast with a sleep doctor because I'm having trouble sleeping. The version of it that you guys do, incredible, because that's, I want to hear two regular guys trying to parse this out for themselves.
Sleep apnea is truly no joke. Truly no freaking joke. Like one of the hardest things to crack. And I feel like an American struggle. Like I know it happens around the world, but like we are not addressing like people dying in their sleep.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. But and those are the kind of conversations that I think are necessarily, especially for middle-aged guys like us. But boy, is it fun to listen to you and Gabrus chop it up with people.
I'm obsessed with it. I just want what we talk about. It's whenever I see a friend and they look good, I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on over there? You know what I mean?
It's normalizing that kind of conversation that I think especially men don't have. I don't want to generalize too much, but I think it's a good thing out there. And it's one of many good things, Adam, because right now we can watch your special. We can listen to your podcast. We can watch you bake on the level of June, which makes me more excited than anything.
Well, I don't know about big. Behave.
Behave. Okay, got it. Well, I am so happy.
Dudes, thank you so much. I'm sorry I cried again. I feel like every time you guys have me on, I cry, but it's really caught me off guard, and the
show is great. You are fantastic. Always doing such great stuff. You're the best, buddy. I love you.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you, buddy.
Thank you, Jason and Adam, for just chatting with me. But now it's finally time to announce our next movie. Next week, we'll be going from a Jason in Manhattan to a Jason on Mars? Wait, what? Are we doing Freddy in space? Oh, no. We're doing Jason Statham on Mars because we're watching the 2001 film John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars, starring Jason Statham, Ice Cube, Natasha Hendrich, Clea Duvall, and Pam Grier. I've never seen this movie, and I am so excited. Here's IMDb's breakdown of the plot. 200 years in the future, a Martian police unit is dispatched to transport a dangerous prisoner, but when the team arrives, they find the town deserted and the remaining inhabitants possessed. Oh, hell yes. Oh, well, now, oh, hell no, because I just saw that Rotten Tomatoes gives this film a 23 score on the tomato meter, and Bruce Fetz from Entertainment Weekly said it's disheartening to see the master of horror bringing himself to both write and direct a film with such a prepubescent understanding of horror. Ooh, Bruce! That one hits low. Don't do that to John Carpenter. He demands your respect. By the way, I had a friend who saw him in concert. That dude is the best. You ever see him just smoke cigarettes and just play video games and talk to Robert Rodriguez? He's the coolest motherfucker of all time. I love John Carpenter, and I will not have anyone speaking ill of him, but we will speak ill of this movie. You can stream Ghost of Mars on the Roku channel, but don't just stream it yet. Why don't you get a little taste of it by listening to the trailer?
It was supposed to be a routine prisoner transport.
Williams was arrested on the suspicion of murdering 6 rail workers. The bodies were hung and decapitated.
But here, a million miles from home.
Hello?
They're about to discover nothing is what it seems.
The hell is going on out there?
Whatever used to live here, we woke it up. It takes us. I'm talking about a kind of possession.
John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars.
All right. Now, The Ghost of Mars is not just available on the Roku app. It's also available on, get this, the Criterion Channel. Yes, and Apple TV as well as Amazon Prime. In addition, I encourage you to check out Hoopla, Canopy, and Libby. Oh, I love Libby, which are digital media services offered by your local public library that allow you to consume movies, TV, music, audiobooks, ebooks, and comics for free. All right, that is it for Last Looks. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please remember to rate and review us. Please rate and review us. It makes this show go higher in the algorithm, and that's important nowadays. Also, make sure you're following us so you have automatic downloads turned on, and that allows you to not miss a damn thing. You can follow us on social media and see what our brand new social media master Zoe Applebaum is doing. And a big thank you to our producers Scott Sani, Molly Reynolds, and our movie picking producer Averill Halley, as well as our engineer Casey Holford and our brand new intern Quinn Jennings, who worked tirelessly on this episode. We'll see you next week for John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars. Wow, it's hard to do two plurals back to back. All right, next week. Bye for now.